Okay, welcome to this week's Roundtable Meetup, Mentorship Masters Roundtable Meetup. It's going to be exciting. Yes, it's going to be a fun class today. Today's topic is really going to be anchored around agent attraction. Now, just so you guys know, when I do these, I rotate different themes. So one week it's mindset, another week it's lead generation, then it's leverage, and then it's really building your business or leadership, we should call it. I think a better name for agent attraction really is leadership, because when you, as Mark Phillips is starting to realize, when you start to attract agents and build your organization, you are called to be a leader, and a leader you are. You are a mighty, special vessel of God, created in His image and unique. So let's step up to the playing field today and let's get into it. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen because we have a special presentation today. Today, we're going to be focusing on how to do a three-way call, the anatomy of a three-way call. Yes, a three-way call is magical, and I'll share with you why that is as we get into it. So, all right, I see more people are joining the classroom. Okay, so I'm going to share. All right, let's go right up here. Okay, here we go. All right, so, and by the way, if you guys have any questions or anything, what we're going to do, I'm going to go for probably about 30 minutes, maybe 35. I'll spend the first 5 minutes on announcements, and then we'll open it up for any questions. So, all right, let me jump into this. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about today: the anatomy of a three-way call. Three-way calls are magical, and you want to start incorporating them in your agent attraction mix-up. Okay, three-way call, the anatomy of a three-way call. So before we do that, I want to give a special shout out to our brand new newest members. Yeah, you can see the latest one just joined today. So we've got some new members, many actually new members. And so these are the new members that have just joined since we met last week. We've had added this many new members. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 new members in the last week. And these are the sponsors that brought them in. So thank you guys for helping our group grow. Look where they're coming from: Florida, Washington, D.C., Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, California, Maryland. I'm telling you, we're opening it up. And by the way, we're going to have our very first mentorship master from India. That's right. Going to be joining us in a couple of weeks. So that's super exciting as well. All right, so let's hold on a second. I see a few people in the waiting room. Hold on 1 minute. See if I can get them in. Oh no, where are they? Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so let's keep going. These are our top producers, our producers of the month, and Chris will be working on a new list soon. He should be working on that very soon, and that new list will be up. But thanks to our top producers for leading the way. Thank you guys for being on the cutting edge. And then these are our ambassadors, okay, our top ambassadors. Now, you become an ambassador when you bring a member to the group, when you bring a member to Mentorship Masters, you enroll them, you get them on board here at eXp, and then you become an ambassador. So you can have as few as 1 member all the way up. And so these are our ambassadors. We call them the Masters of the Month ambassadors. So we'll be updating this soon as well. eXp's in the news. That's right. Let me just show you some of the latest things that are going on in case you missed it. How about that stock? Huh? Over $100. I did not think that the stock would hit over $100 this early in the game, but it's over $100. I think this morning it was $107. And this time last year, it was about $9. So if you had invested $10,000 in stock last year, it would be worth $100,000 today. So, and it's going to keep growing, guys. It's going to keep growing. that's my prediction. Okay. Don't hold me to it, but that's my prediction. eXp Puerto Rico, baby. We just opened in Puerto Rico. So that just happened this week. We are open for business in Puerto Rico. By the way, just in case you don't know, we are going to be opening 4 new countries every single quarter. Okay, 4 new countries a quarter. So that's 16 new countries this year at least. Okay, remember Hong Kong is also on the books to open this quarter as well. And then there's a lot of other news. Italy will be opening up as well. So, you know, we continue to expand, and Michael Valdez is doing a phenomenal job leading that charge. And let's get into our topic. The anatomy of a 3-way call. The anatomy of a 3-way call. First of all, what is a 3-way call? Well, we'll talk about that. That's what we're going to really be talking about. How do you do them? Why are they important? And so on. That's the purpose of this meetup. All right. So, oh, by the way, we just hit a huge milestone today. 100 agents. Now, this is 100 agents that I've personally enrolled that are on my level 1. I have 100 agents. I think there might be 3 or 4, maybe less than that, agents at eXp that have done this. So this is a big milestone. I'm patting myself on the back. All glory to God. All glory to God for this, because to God be the glory. I was with Keller. Thank you, Rebecca. I was with Keller Williams for 10 years, 10 years, loved the company, was recruited there by Gary Keller. And I recruited 7 agents in 10 years, okay, 10 years. I've been here just at 25 months, and I've brought in 100. So it just shows the model. It's easier to do here. We've got what it takes. And with the Mentorship Masters group, here as well, we make it so easy for people to say yes. And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed this, but you're going to start noticing it. Sharing eXp is getting easier and easier every single day. Yes, we are the Wall Street darlings. We are that stock that just shot up, and we were undervalued for a long time. And so now the valuation is getting to where it needs to be. And we're rocking and rolling. So, and kudos to you guys for helping our group grow. We are now almost at 160. We just passed 160 members is where we're at right now. See, I'm already thinking ahead. I want to hit 200, 300, 500, 1,000. And eventually our group, and I believe, will be over 40,000. And possibly we'll hit 100,000. Yes, eXp is going to be growing to over 1 million agents. 1 million. Yeah, I said 1 million worldwide. 400,000 in the US, 600,000 abroad. That's our target. And that's what we're going for. So we want them here. We want them in our group. I'm going to continue to grow, but I don't necessarily want to continue to grow wide. I want to continue to grow this organization on the shoulders of you guys, okay? So that 40,000, 100,000 agents that's going to join Mentorship Masters are going to be joining through you, right? So this is what we're going to talk about, how to do it. Now, let's talk about agent attraction, the agent attraction system. There is a system to agent attraction. It's very simple, but it is a system. And for many of you, the light bulb is starting to go off, and you're starting to realize, man, this is really a science. And here's how it goes. Number 1, you create curiosity. When you talk to someone about eXp, when you talk to someone about Mentorship Masters, you don't try to sell them on eXp or Mentorship Masters when you first talk about it. You just create curiosity, right? And you can do that in a variety of ways. And once they're curious, to say, hey, well, tell me more about that. Then you invite them to watch the model explained, okay? There's the one that I like to use the most, the video that I like to use. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat, but you just invite them to watch the model explained. And by the way, one of the strategies that Kevin and Fred shared with us, by the way, they just finished doing a 4-week blitz on agent attraction. So I'm just coming off of that. So I'm on a 4-week high of attending that Blitz. Very, very good information. I'll be sharing the replays of that with you guys as well in the Mentorship Masters portal. So I'll be uploading that in the next week or so. But one of the things that they mentioned is that they're starting to actually invite agents to watch the model explained on sort of like on like a Zoom. So they invite them to a Zoom and then they watch the video together, or they sit down with them together, you know. So that's kind of becoming the new way that this thing is, because a lot of times when you send somebody a video, you know, they just don't watch it, right? And we know, here's what we know. When they watch the video and they get on a 3-way call, okay, they're about 35 to 40% likely to join. So if you have, for every 2.5 conversations that you have following this system, you should have 1 person sign up, okay? And now, if you're working only with new agents, brand new agents, it's going to be a little, your numbers are going to be a little different, okay? Because newer agents are a little bit, there's a little more technique involved in working with brand new agents, because they have to get over the fear of joining a cloud-based company. So you have to explain to them why, you know, what the benefits and perks are, and how we kind of bridge the gap with our local mentor program. Okay, that's really another topic. We could talk about that later. But you invite them to a 3-way call after they've watched the model explained, and then you incubate them. That's it. Follow up until they buy or die. They either say, leave me alone, or they join. Okay, and in some cases, with some of the folks that I've attracted here, it's taken a year. Some of them has taken 2 years. Some of them took, you know, 2 days. I talked to a gentleman, Jermaine. Patty and I talked to him day before yesterday, and he onboarded. He's active today. Okay, so some of them take 2 days. Some of them take 2 years. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be here in 10 years. I'm going to be here in 20 years. So it doesn't matter to me when they join. You know, this is my forever home. And so as they, you know, if they join up 5 years from now, hey, we'll be here for them. No problem. So this really is the agent attraction system. Take a screenshot of it. Highly recommended that you follow this system, because this is the only system to success that I know of. Okay. So that, I just want to do a brief overview of the system, and then let's get into the anatomy of a 3-way call, the anatomy. Thank you, Mark. Hey, Mark's giving me a high five. You're going to be there, my brother. Mark Phillips, he says, trying to get on the Knolly level. Now, Mark Phillips is really, has really stepped up his game. I don't know any other way to say it. I think he'll be at 6 masters that he has personally enrolled just in the last 60 days. So he stepped up his game. He's gotten real serious. Let me tell you why that's important. Hold on a second. Let me just tell you why that's important, Mark. I'm gonna speak to you, Mark. Let me tell you why that's important. Now, you know, I've talked about this guy named Rico. Okay, maybe one day I'll invite him to speak to our group. Guy is very inspirational. He was a soccer coach, never sold a house in his life. In fact, he was an investor, so he bought and sold a couple of properties. But for all, you know, purposes, he was a soccer coach. That's what he did. He joined, you know, you've heard the story before. He joined eXp, and he fumbled his way through how to do agent attraction. He just figured it out. Okay. He was an unknown, a nobody. He wasn't an author, speaker, none of that kind of stuff. Nobody knew who he was, but he just met with people and told them about eXp, met with agents, even though he himself wasn't selling houses. Okay. Now, today, fast forward 4 years, 48 months later, 48 months, Wilco now has over 1,000 agents in his organization, over 1,000. Okay. But he himself on his first line, he's only personally enrolled. It's either 12 or 14 agents, something like that. In 4 years, he's enrolled 12 to 14 agents. So that's about 3 agents a year. that he's enrolled, but he's got over 1,000 agents in his organization. What does that mean? Big deal. What does that mean? That means that he could be on track to generate $70,000 a month in revenue. 70,000 a month. Yeah, almost $1 million a year just in the group that he's attracted so far. Okay. So don't sneeze at this opportunity, guys. Don't sleep on it. And don't use that old excuse, oh, I'm not a recruiter. Look, every single agent on the planet should be in Mentorship Masters, period. Okay. This is where we teach agents how to succeed at their highest level. And what are our tenets? What are our tenets? How to make $250,000 or more a year. Okay. Working 20 to 30 hours a week or less, taking 4 to 5 vacations a year or more, having nights and weekends off, and being debt free. Now, who wouldn't want to sign up for that? And by the way, if you follow the model, that's what I did for 10 years of my career. That was in fact, toward the end of my career in real estate, I was working about 3 hours a week. Okay. And I was embarrassed to tell people how much I worked because it was embarrassing. Okay. So Chris knows, Chris is on the call right here. You know, I run a software business. Those of you guys know I own More Solds. It's a software business. And how many hours a week, put it in the chat, Chris, how many hours a week do you think I work on More Solds, the CRM? And it's residual income. It's income coming in. He's laughing. He's probably like 0 hours a week, probably. So let me see. He says 1 hour a week, and he put a question mark by it. He's like, maybe you work an hour a week. I'm not sure. Do you even work that much? You're probably about right, Chris. I think that's more than I think I don't work an hour a week in that business, but thank you for being generous, brother. I appreciate that. I'm the master at leverage, and I teach you guys how to duplicate and do what I do. So let's go back. Let's look at the anatomy of a three-way call. This is super important. The anatomy of a three-way call. So a three-way call, first of all, I want to explain that a three-way call is what we call a third-party validation. Take notes on this, guys. Now, if you're driving, don't take notes. But if you can take notes, because this is very critical. This is what we call a third-party validation. Okay, and what I want to share with you is that anyone can do a three-way call. Okay, anyone can do a three-way call. So here's the anatomy of a three-way call. Now, a three-way call is where you've got partner one and partner two, and then there is a prospect, okay? So partner one sets up the call with the prospect, and partner two sort of controls or conducts the call, okay? So partner one invites the prospect to the call, and partner two conducts the call. There is no special genius, no special criteria, no special credentiality, no special anything that is required on a three-way call. And I will say this: we simply took a play from the playbook of multi-level marketing. You know, I don't know any other way to say it. I talked to a guy yesterday who is joining us. And he was saying that he was introduced to eXp 8 years ago. 8 years, let me say it again, 8 years ago. But he didn't like the idea of multi-level marketing. You know, some do, some don't, and I get that. But what he didn't realize at the time is that eXp is not a multi-level marketing company. eXp is a real estate company. But when it comes to agent attraction, we operate like an MLM. Okay, but that's just a piece of eXp that you can or cannot, depending on what your choice is, participate in. Okay, let me say this: 90% of the agents, probably 95. Let me say this: 95% of the agents at eXp are not here to attract. Why do I know that? Because less than 95% of the agents at eXp have enrolled one person. Let me say it again. Less than 95% of the agents at eXp, we have 40,000 agents, okay? And less than 95% of them have enrolled one person to eXp on their first line. Okay. So the whole idea that eXp is just all about agent attraction is just false. Now, those of us that are about attraction big time. And so we know that agents should be here. And so we continue to shout it from the rooftops if it were. But when it came to compensation, Glenn Sanford looked high and low, and the man is a genius. Rebecca Wooten was so kind to set up a call with, and by the way, he was very kind to oblige as well, a 1 hour sit down with Glenn Sanford last night. And we got to just chat with him, and he's real low key. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. He's just a low key guy. And, he's a nerd. Okay. I just say it. He's a nerd like I am. And he just answered questions for brand new agents. Okay. A billionaire on the phone with brand new agents on a Zoom, answering their basic questions. And what did they learn? They learned to do what Rebecca said. That's all they learned. Rebecca already told you what to do. So this is all he did was reiterate what Rebecca's been telling them. Rebecca is a certified mentor, one of the top mentors at eXp. And she's got a nice stable, about 15 agents that she's mentoring. And he sat down with them, and I was on. He graciously, she invited me as well, and we had a good time with him. But when you can see the guy's a genius when you sit down with him, and he looked high and low to find the right compensation model for helping eXp grow. And lo and behold, he found that the best model for compensating agents was found in the MLM industry. So that's what he took a playbook from. Same as Keller Williams. Keller Williams did the same thing, except they share from profit, whereas we share right off the top. Big difference. So let's look at this three-way call. Partner one. What does partner one do, and what does partner two do? Now, partner one really is the one that actually sets up the call. Okay, and this is something that you guys can be doing with each other, but more appropriately, you're going to be doing it with your upline. Okay, with your what we call your upline here. So partner one obviously is the one that sets up the three-way. They clear the time, they set the intention, they edify the prospect and the partner, and they pass to the partner. Okay, that's the rhythm. Okay, I'm going to talk about each of these next, and then I'm going to answer questions you guys have. Now, partner two has three main roles. Number one, they build rapport, like, hey, tell me about yourself. Then they ask a couple of questions. Did you get a chance to watch the video or attend the webinar, whichever the case? What did you like most about what you saw? And then they ask, what questions do you have for us about Mentorship Masters or eXp? Or what questions do you have? Okay. That's the anatomy of a three-way call. That's how it's conducted. Mark Phillips and I have done a number of these, and I appreciate him because he's really helped me sort of define this process, find out what works and what doesn't work, and so on. So, all right, so let's look at this. So partner one, let's talk about what partner one does. So let's say, for example, you have a person that is interested in eXp or Mentorship Masters, whatever the case is, and they're like, hey, could you tell me more about it? And you say, you know what, I'd love to share more about it, but there's a lot to it. And I tell you what, let's watch a video together, or give me 30 minutes and I'll tell you when do you have 30 minutes? So we can, I could share everything with you about it. Okay. Now what Kevin and Fred do is they ask them, when do you have 15 minutes? Okay. Now that's another technique. But basically what they do is they say, now this is 30 minutes. The video is 30 minutes long, but if it sucks after 15 minutes, we'll turn it off and we'll terminate the call. So it's up to you, so you could either send them the video to watch, or you could watch the video with them on a Zoom. Okay. Get them up on a Zoom and say, hey, I'd love to share more with you. When do you have 30 minutes? Or when can we set up a time? Maybe you don't even tell them how long it is. You say, hey, when can you set up a time? Okay, Thursday at 11, great. So, well, not Thursday at 11, because that's when we do our call here. But okay, Friday at 1, great, Friday at 1. So then you get them on, and then they watch the, they watch the model explained by Brent Gove. Then uh, at that point, that's when you set up a time with them to do a three-way. Say, hey, I know you probably have questions. So would you like to talk to one of my business partners? We can set that up for maybe Monday or Tuesday. Which day would work best for you? Okay, well, let me check with my business partner and see when we can get that set up. Okay, now, once you set up the three-way call, remember that's the next step. Let me go back. Let me go back and remind you guys of where we are. Let me go back. Okay, so remember, you create curiosity, they watch the model explain, and then you invite them to a three-way, okay? And then you conduct the three-way. Now, on the three-way, so when you start the call, basically the first thing you do is clear the time. So the way that looks is, hey, John, it's so good to, be able to chat with you today. I've got my business partner with us here on the line as well. And we've set aside 30 minutes to chat with you today. Is that still good for you? Okay, so what you did there was you basically, by the way, these are all techniques that I learned. I didn't invent any of this stuff. I've learned them from a number of people. So kudos to them. Others have lived before you, do what they did. And so you clear the time. So you just make sure you set the, you clear the time so they're like, yeah, 30 minutes is good. I got 30 minutes set aside, no problem. Okay, cool. Now, once you check that box, the next thing you do is you set the intention. Now, when you set the intention, what you're doing is you're explaining the purpose of the call. Okay, you're explaining the purpose of the call. Now let's talk about that. So, in other words, you would do something like this. Now, John, the purpose of our call today, is to answer just to find out a little bit about you and to answer any questions that you have. Okay, that's the intention. The purpose of our call today is to, find out a little more about you, get to know you better, and answer any questions you have about Mentorship Masters or eXp. And you can add to that whatever you want. See if it's a right fit for you, or if whatever you want to add to that. But that's what I say. I leave it right there. So you set the intention. Now, number 3, you edify the prospect and the partner. Okay, so I tell you, Mark Phillips is really good at doing this. And what you're doing is you're basically sharing a little bit with partner 2 about the prospect. So you're saying, now, let's say Carlos is the one that's partner 2. You say, hey, Carlos, John is a brand new agent. He just got his real estate license. But prior to real estate, he was a dentist. He was a dentist for 20 years. And he serves the upper Marble area. And he does, whatever that information is. Keep it down to about 20 seconds about the prospect. You're edifying the prospect. I think he would be a great candidate for our Mentorship Masters program, and I can't wait for you to, get a chance to chat with him. And then you turn around and edify the partner. Okay. Now you're going back to John. You say, now, John, I want to tell you about Carlos. Now, Carlos is an industry veteran. He's been licensed for a number of years. He sold a bunch of homes, and he's one of our, he's my sponsor here at Mentorship Masters here at eXp. Boom, 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds edifying each person, no more than that. Okay. Don't get into this liturgy about they've done this and none of that, like if I were on the call, you would just say, it's Knolly Williams. He's the founder of Mentorship Masters. And, that's all you really have to say, and then number 4, you pass it to the partner. Okay. At that point. So you just say, okay, so, John, I'm going to go ahead and pass the call over to Carlos. I'll be here, in case you guys need me. But Carlos, go ahead and take it away. All right. And then that's where you really have done the handoff to partner 2. Now, once you've done the handoff, my recommendation is that you mute yourself. Okay. The last thing, this is not a 2 against 1. Sometimes it actually works, to be honest with you, when both people are sharing. but I recommend you mute yourself and just let Carlos be the one that, you know, you're just a fly on the wall at that point. Okay. Now, when Carlos begins, he picks up he's your partner, and he basically picks up the call. And he says, "Hey, John, well, it's so good to hear about you. Mark, whoever the partner is, he's been telling me a lot about you. And I got to tell you, I've been real eager to chat with you. Tell me more about yourself." Okay. You just finished number one. And, that prospect is just going to tell about themselves. Well, I did this and I did that. I came from here. I did that, whatever the case is. And then you can have a conversation, just a conversation, okay, that you're having with them. If they say something interesting, you want to comment, you're just having a conversation. You're building rapport. You're getting to know the person. Now, secondly, you say, "Now, John, did you get a chance to watch the video?" Now, you've already established that the person has watched the video, okay, or else you wouldn't be on this call together, right? So that's already been established, but I always ask it again, because even if the person said, "Yeah, I watched the video," they might just be telling you that, or they might have told your partner one, that. But when it comes to partner two, we just built rapport, and they might say, "Well, I didn't really finish the video," or "I really didn't." So that way you kind of know, or they might say, "Look, I watched it twice." I was talking to a guy this week. He says, "Man, I watched not only that video, but I watched 8 hours of videos." So you'll find different types. But I just asked the question again. "Hey, did you get a chance to watch the video?" "Yeah, I thought you did. What did you like most about what you saw?" That's the question. What did you like most about what you saw? Now, the reason you ask that question is because that question is going to tell you what's important to them. You don't want to get into revenue share if they don't care anything about it. You don't want to get into the stock at eXp if they don't care anything about that. You don't want to get into other conversations about other things that they don't care about. They might say, "Well, what I really liked was it's an 80-20 split. I like the $16,000 cap, and I like the healthcare." Great. I love all those things about our company as well. Is there anything else that you saw, that you really liked about what you saw? And then they might name another thing or two. Okay. Now, once they name those things, you're writing them down. By the way, when I do this, when I do a three-way call, what I do is I actually write down, I have a whiteboard. So I'm usually writing on a whiteboard everything that kind of the things that I want to stick out to remember. Now, you can easily write it down on paper or type it into your phone, whatever's better for you as you're chatting with them, but make sure you're taking notes about what they're saying, so that you can refer back to your notes. If they've been, like I was talking to a guy yesterday, I'm looking at his notes. He's been licensed since 1996. And so he's got 4 children and so on. He was at Century 21, then he was at Caldwell Banker. So I'm looking at my notes up there, and so I'm able to instead of interrupting him and his flow, I'm just writing things down. And later on, I'm gonna say, "Man, that's interesting. So you've been licensed since 1996. Wow. Tell me how it was back then." You're getting a conversation going there. And then the last question is, what questions do you have for us? Or what questions do you have about Mentorship Masters or eXp? Now, I got to tell you guys, when someone is on this three-way call, when the prospect is on the three-way call, they're pretty much, close to being sold on joining. They just have a couple questions typically. Okay. If you've done the first part of it right, and they've watched the video, and now new agents is an exception. I will say new agents are an exception, but if they're an agent that's been around, been seasoned, and they're on a three-way call with you, they're pretty close. They're pretty set on joining the company. It may not be right away, it may be later. Now, sometimes it's just a discovery call. Sometimes they just have questions and they want to know more. But what I found more often than not is they just want to reaffirm I mean, the video answered all their questions really, but they just want to reaffirm. So they'll say things like, well, let me back up. So what questions do you have for us, or for me, or do you have? Let them ask their questions. So they're going to say, well, I was really wondering about the split. Okay, great. Are there any other questions? Yeah. And what's the cap there? Okay. What other questions do you have? Well, tell me more about Mentorship Masters. Like, I heard that y'all have meetings and stuff like that. Is that true? Yeah, we sure do. Did you have any other questions? I'm going to write them all down. What I want to do is make a list of all your questions, and then let's go through them, you know? So this is the best way to do it. Now, I usually answer one question at a time, but what I've learned is it's not the best practice. It's usually better to get all the questions down and then go through and answer them one at a time. Because when you do that, what you're doing is you're building an agenda, okay, for the call. You're building a call agenda. By the way, this may seem like a lot, but this is really a 30-minute call. Sometimes it can go 40 minutes. This front part of it should take about 2 minutes. Okay, about 2 minutes at the max. And then the rest of it is the rest of the time that you have together. If it's a 30-minute call, you've got, 28 minutes left, or 30 minutes or whatever, and you want to start on time and you want to end on time. Okay. When it comes to that, you want to honor their time. In other words, like when I used to do listing appointments, I would always tell them, hey, this shouldn't take us more than 30, 40 minutes unless you have additional questions. I always put that caveat out there so that if it went over, it's not my fault, it's theirs. So this is really the anatomy of a three-way call. I'm gonna wrap it up with this, and then I'm gonna take questions from you guys. The three-way call, this is our cheat sheet. This is a cheat sheet. So if you just stumble or you don't quite get it right, this anatomy, this is best practices, okay? But if you just wanted to kind of just jump on and do it, this is a cheat sheet. Tell me about yourself. What did you like most about what you saw? What questions do you have? That's all a three-way call is. A three-way call is not to sell eXp. It's not to sell Mentorship Masters. It's not to convince someone to join our company. Never. Okay. That is not the purpose of a three-way call. A three-way call is only to answer their questions. One thing I learned from Gene Frederick, write this down because I think this is very, very critical. We call him the GOAT. Gene Frederick, we call him the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Gene Frederick has over 10,000 in his revenue share group. And what he taught me was, basically he taught me the script, but he does it a little different. He says, tell me about yourself. What did you like most about what you saw? And he adds another question in. He says, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning I'm never going to join eXp or Mentorship Masters, and 10 being I'm ready to join today, where would you say you are? Now Mark and I have been on calls where we had one gal tell us I'm a 15. I was like, yo, but they'll tell you, they'll say, I'm a 7. And then the follow-up question is, what would make it a 10? And they say, well, if you guys had this, it would make it a 10. Or if you had offices, or if you, whatever the question, whatever it is, what would make it a 10? Okay. Then they're going to tell you why they're not ready to join today. And then you can answer and address those concerns. Okay. One of the last things I'm going to mention is that if you want to know what the frequently asked questions are, make sure that you have a copy of this right here. This is the Mentorship Masters Success Manual. Okay. Every one of you should have this. If you don't have it, you can go to partnerwithnolly.com and you can download it. Okay. Or you can get the physical copy on Amazon. Okay. It's $4. It'll be shipped to you free if you've got Prime, and you'll have a copy of this bad boy. And by the way, I made it kind of vanilla just for our group. So anybody can feel comfortable handing this out. And when someone joins, even if they go to partnerwithnolly.com, it basically tells them whenever they enroll, they're going to put down the name of the mentorship master who invited them, okay, to the opportunity. So Mentorship Masters is a group that can only be, it's invitation only. So you can only join at the invite of another master. So make sure, and the reason I mention this is because in the back of the book, I've got the frequently asked questions. So if you're going to be partner 2 on this 3-way call, make sure you have boned up or you understand these frequently asked questions and how to answer them very succinctly, or have this in front of you, okay, when you're taking a 3-way call. All right, that's it, guys. That's the anatomy of a 3-way call. And it's a powerful technique to get people to move off the fence and to move forward. So let's look at any questions you guys have. Yeah, Pamela wants the link to the video that I like to use. Let me put the link here in the chat. And keep that video handy, because that's the one that we've created a special Mentorship Masters version of the model explained that is Brent Gove explaining the model, but I'm at the beginning and the end of it kind of as a buffer to explain a little bit about our Mentorship Masters program. Now there is, I had announced this last week, but there will be the opportunity for you guys to invite them to a webinar that will happen multiple times a week, possibly, or maybe once a week, to where they'll get this video. This video will be played, as well as explaining everything about Mentorship Masters there as well. Because remember, they get a lot of tools, additional tools, in addition to what's offered at eXp. Any other questions you guys have about the 3-way? Has it been helpful? It's been good, right? All right, you can unmute yourself if you need to ask a question, or you can type it in the chat if you have a question.
Do we just like randomly call real estate agents?
Ira, so no, you do not randomly call real estate agents. If you haven't learned how to do agent attraction, and the question is, which is a great question, how do I find real estate agents? I've got a lot of training on that. We don't encourage that you randomly call them. We do have what we call an agent attraction pledge. So what you want to do, Ira, is, let me show you. Go log into one of the tenets of our pledge is that we don't do like mass scale recruiting. I mean, these should be people that, that you have a relationship with to some degree, or you create a relationship with. If you don't know how to do that, then that's going to be the subject of, it's just good old fashioned lead generation. But let me just show you, Ira, where to go. Because I think that's a great question. People are like, like Gene Frederick would say, back in the day, he would tell us, just go to Starbucks and say, hey, are there any realtors here? they'll raise their hand. There's a bunch of them. But what I recommend for you, Ira, is go to, or anybody that has a question like that, is go log into the portal, okay? And then go all the way to where it says agent attraction. It's this red tab right here. It says agent attraction. And watch this video called Attraction Secrets, okay? Then there's a handout as well. And tips and tricks is another one that you want to watch. Agent attraction, new agent attraction tips and tricks, okay? You want to watch that. And then there's some attraction videos in here. Attraction scripts. There's some scripts that you guys can use for agent attraction that are right here in the portal. You just copy and paste them. For example, this one, Hi, Gene. Hope your Friday's going great. It was great seeing you today at Star Title. Hey, I thought I'd share with you about Mentorship Masters, a program where agents get mentoring and coaching for free. This opportunity may not be for you because I know you're happy where you are, but I was wondering who you know that would benefit from having mentorship and coaching to achieve their highest goals. Would you do me a favor and watch this webinar so you can understand more, and let me know if you run across any agents who may be interested? Thanks. And then you send them, then you put the link at the bottom. So that's an example. There's several scripts here that you can use. But there's a bunch of ways to find real estate agents. There's another one that I did. If you look at these, agent attraction 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, those are really good, as well as the 9 laws of agent attraction. That's another really good training on doing agent attraction. Today, we're more or less talking about the 3-way call to get to that point. But if you just don't know how to actually attract agents, then you got to rewind, go back to the beginning and learn that skill because agents are everywhere. There are over 1 million real estate agents in North America, and there are about 20 million across the world. So agents really are everywhere. And I've got a lot of techniques for how to open up the loop, the conversation loop on that. Okay, let's see. By the way, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Pamela says, I think I sent the wrong video yesterday. You really can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You're going to come across agents that are just ready to make a move. They've been hearing about eXp. The stock's going nuts. We are going to hit 100,000 agents this year. We're at 40,000 now. Look, when I walked in 2003, I walked into a Keller Williams office, and you know what the biggest thing was back then? Keller who? You say, hey, I'm with Keller Williams. Keller who? That was the big thing. It was such a common statement that Dave Kennord, who was one of the, at that, now he's the president of eXp, but at that time he was a regional director for Keller Williams. He actually went out and bought kellerwho.com because that's what everybody say, Keller who? Nobody knew who Keller Williams was. When I walked in their office in 2003, Keller Williams had 14,000 agents. 14,000. Okay. Now, when I joined eXp 25 months ago, we had 16,000. Today, we have 42,000. And by the end of this year, we'll have over 100,000. So trust me, 60,000 agents are coming, and they're going to be coming through you guys if you get in the game. Okay. If you get in the game. So by the end of this year, everybody will know who eXp is. Now, the truth is, most people don't really know who eXp is because why? Because their broker, their team leader, has given them the wrong information about eXp to keep them out of the gate, to keep them away from entering the promised land, if you will. But the truth is out. People are starting to find out the facts, and they're coming in droves. They're coming in droves. We have about 3,000 to 4,000 agents a month joining eXp. Okay, that's about 1,000 agents a week, and they should be coming through you. All right, so let's see any other questions. Yeah, for some it's eXp who. So that's why Pamela says for some it's like eXp. What's that? I love it. I love it because it's golden opportunity. Oh, you haven't heard about it? Let me, and some will say, oh, I've heard about eXp. Well, tell me what you heard. But have you heard it from me? Well, I haven't heard it from you. Well, you got to look, let me share this. Now, here's the thing though. You don't want to convince people. I mean, that's not what I do. I don't convince. I just share the opportunity. It's either for you or it's not. It doesn't matter to me either way. Because even though we're going to have 100,000 agents, let's say, for example, in North America, our goal is a 20% market share. Okay. Those of us that are at the top of the attraction game here, we want to have a 20% market share in the United States. But that means 80% of agents won't be with us. Okay. That's okay. The best thing that ever happened to Coca-Cola was what? What was the best thing that ever happened to Coca-Cola? Somebody type it in the chat. The best thing that ever happened to Coca-Cola. See if y'all know. Diet Coke? Nope. The best thing that ever happened to Coca-Cola was Pepsi. Okay, Pepsi. The best thing that ever happened to Coca-Cola was Pepsi. If you haven't read this book right here, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing by Al Ries, he talks about why that is. Okay, the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. The best thing that ever happened to Coca-Cola was Pepsi, because what it did was it brought up the whole cola market. Best thing that ever happened to for Uber was Lyft. Okay, so when you have competition, it brings up the whole market. Okay, so what you're going to start seeing is other cloud-based companies, because that's the future of real estate. You're going to see other cloud-based real estate models that copy eXp. Why? Because there's no better model. You're not going to go and copy Caldwell Banker. that's outdated. You're going to copy what the top model of today. Just like there's going to be copycats of Amazon, Facebook, and so on, right? We just want to have a 20% market share. That's 400,000 agents. There's only 40,000 now. There's only 40,000 now. I'm talking US. Okay. So we've got another 360,000. We're only 10% build out of the opportunity. So how'd you like to get in on a game when it's only 10% built out? Well, you're here. We're only 10% built out. Okay. So we've got another 90% to grow. You didn't miss the opportunity. We're here at the right time. All right, let me look at some of these comments you guys have. Let's see here. Yeah. Mark Phillips is saying we are the highest concentrated members behind the NRA. Everyone knows an agent, or they have a family member who is an agent. Ask a friend or family, who do you know that's an agent or getting their license? That may open some doors. That's another technique that I teach. Because I have hours of teaching on how to do agent attraction, I don't necessarily want to teach it here, but what Mark is saying is that, one of the techniques that I teach is you call your aunts, your uncles, anybody you know, and say, hey, what realtors do you know? Everybody knows 2 or 3 realtors. And they say, oh, I know so-and-so and so-and-so. You say, hey, would you mind if I use your name as a reference? And I just want to share this incredible model with them and just see if they know anybody that might be interested. Oh, no problem. So then when you call that person, you say, hey, Jimmy Smith. Oh yeah, Jimmy Smith. Yeah. Well, he told me that he knows you, you're his realtor, whatever the case is, you guys are friends. And I just want to share with you because we have something in common. And then you open up the loop, the conversation. But that's all part of what I teach in those videos that I share with you guys. So make sure you go back and read those. And by the way, the 4-part series that I'm sharing with you from that Kevin and Fred did, which Kevin Kaufman's my sponsor here at eXp. And so he's in all of our upline. That was with some of the top recruiters at the company. Powerful stuff. I mean, absolutely powerful. So you'll learn a lot from that as well. Okay, any other questions before we wrap up? Okay, in the absence of no other questions, does anybody have any general questions about anything outside of what we talked about today?
Knolly,
I'm here. What's up, Christy?
that script that you showed us just a few minutes ago in the portal, do you use that YouTube link that's at the bottom of that script, or do you use your attraction website? You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't tend to use the attraction website when I'm at the first, it's a really good point. So when I first do the attraction, I don't generally send people to my agent attraction website. I usually will send them to the video. And the reason is, it's just personal preference. I feel like the agent attraction site is very overwhelming. It has a lot of information, and they might get lost. Whereas the video boom, that's all they see is the opportunity. And then when they want to learn more, you can kind of use your agent attraction site for that. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. I think that's a great question, because I think a lot of us just point them directly to the agent attraction site, which is okay, but I feel like it's better to point them there later as they generate more interest. And by the way, every single one of you guys is entitled to an agent attraction site, as Christy's talking about. You get that once you attract your first member, you get your own agent attraction site, and that's going to really help you to grow as well. What's our next book? Our next book is Letting Go. Now, some of you guys have already read this. Well, you know what I'm going to start doing? Let me see if I have. What I'm going to start doing is, I don't have, what I'm going to have to start doing is bringing, this is our next book, Letting Go. Now, I know for a fact, Pamela, you've already read this because you've been with us long enough, but this is something, you know, I read this book, personally, I read it every year. You're a new person this year than you were last, and you are going to gain so many insights from this book. I usually let you guys take 2 months to read it. So for February, March, this is the book right here, Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender. It's on Audible as well. So if you've read it, go back and read it again. But what I'm going to start doing, I've got to remember to do this, is bringing to the class the books that I'm currently reading. Because for some of you guys you're like, well, I've already read that and I don't want to read it again, then I'll share with you, hey, here's what I'm reading right now. I don't share with you everything I'm reading because I know that a lot of the stuff I share with you is overwhelming as it is, because it's a lot. But I usually generally will read a book a week. So anyway, that's that. So, hey, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's continue.
Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet.
Okay, what you got?
Your wish is your command. That is, you know, you had recommended that. Your wish is your command.
Yeah.
That is on YouTube, and I've listened to it 3 times. And Patty Lynn emailed me a book. It's a guidebook that she emailed to me to go along with that. Your wish is your command.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm getting ready to listen to it for the 4th time and go through the guidebook.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So just wanted to share that.
And Ira says, just picked up Letting Go on Audible. If you guys didn't catch what, high five, Ira, that's good stuff, man. If you guys didn't catch what Christy just said, she's listened to Your Wish is Your Command already 3 times, and she's about to listen to it a 4th time. And there is a guidebook. Actually, Sabu had shared that with me some time ago. Let me, before we wrap up, let me do this. Let me just show you guys. I'm back here in the portal, and let me see. So if you go to Knolly Tools and Resources, you'll find all of my books in there that you can download. But there's also a book of the month. I'm trying to, oh, here it is. So there is a tab called the book of the month, just in case if you guys miss it. So if you go to this tab, it outlines the book of the month. I'm actually going to start putting these by, I've got to reorganize this by month. So like January, February, and so on. So there's going to be direct links. And then what Christy's talking about is Your Wish is Your Command. Okay. I actually got to update this list for all the books of the year. I'll add it to it. But yeah, send us a link, put a link to the workbook, Christy, if you can, on Workplace. And that way we can all get that workbook, because that's a powerful training. So for those of you that like to skip ahead, you can.
Knolly, one other question. Do we have career visioning with the eXp? And if so, how do we access that information?
We do not, that I know of. Okay. Now I know we used to have career visioning. Trying to see if I have my old career visioning book. This is what she's talking about, guys, career visioning. And at Keller Williams, we used to use this all the time. What I use instead of career visioning is I use, well, what we use here is the wealth dynamics. Wealth dynamics. You know, I taught the disc for probably 12 years, but wealth dynamics is so superior. I mean, it's on a whole different stratosphere. But career visioning is good. But for me, wealth dynamics just takes it to a whole new level. And Artemis in our group, he's the one that really kind of spearheads the training because he's a certified trainer, as well as Tony. Tony Patillo in our group is also a certified wealth dynamics trainer as well. So that's what we use over career visioning, but we used to use career visioning back in the day, but I'm not aware that, I might be wrong about this. I'm not aware that it's available through eXp, if you will. Mark is asking, hey, for those of you that need to leave, I love you. I appreciate you. High five to you. I'm going to go ahead and stay after class because I see a couple students need help. But hey, let's start doing these three-way calls, guys. Set them up with your upline, set them up with each other, and let's rock it. I want to take our Mentorship Masters group to 600 members this year. We're at 160, so we got some work to do. All right, so let me, discovering your divine destiny. So Mark is asking, where can we find the Discovering Your Divine Destiny course? So let me show you. You guys already know where to find it. Everything lives in the portal, right? You already know where I'm gonna go. So what you do is you log into the portal where everything lives, and you go to down here to where it says Knolly Tools and Resources, and then I think you're gonna find it in here. This is the book, Discovering Your Divine Destiny, where you can download the PDF. And then where's the course? Let me see if it's, might be here. Yeah, that's the thing. What I always tell people is go ahead and play with this because there's something in here. I don't see it in here, Mark, but I know it's here somewhere. Chris can help you with that. Chris, where is it? Chris is like, I don't know where it is, but I know that it's in here. So let me just show you what he's talking about. Discovering Your Divine Destiny is an 8-week course that I created. And this is a phenomenal course, guys. It was shot all over the world. Actually, I shot this episode in Barcelona. This one was shot in Paris, Madrid, Spain, Malaga, Spain, Granada, Spain. We shot Portugal and Key West. So it's 8 workbooks and it's 8 videos. You know, it's a full course on how to discover your divine destiny, like who you are, what your purpose is in life. And so it is available to the masters for free once we can figure out how to get to it. So we'll find the link, or I'll find exactly where it is for you, and then we'll post that out there. But it's under one of these tabs. And by the way, if any of you guys can figure out a better way to organize this information, I'm all ears. It's in here kind of the way I put it in. So some stuff is a little more difficult to find. Now there is a search feature, but I don't find it very helpful, to be honest with you. Because like right now, I just put, I put like, let's say if I'm on this tab here. Oh, by the way, while I'm in here, let me just share this real quick. If you're brand new to the group, you want to go ahead and start with the welcome tab, go through all these, lessons here, and then start. Part of that's going to be your first 30 days. Okay. So you got to go through all that. And then once you go through your first 30 days, you're going to start here on your 12 steps. And it might take you 90 days to complete that, 4 months, it doesn't matter. But that's what's going to help you set your foundation. All right, so we'll find that for you in the portal. And okay, what else? I think that's it. Oh, Mark said it's under the, Chris, it's under the masterclass tab. Okay, so I guess that would make sense. So thank you, Chris. So if you go to, where's masterclass? Oh, here it is, master classes. Yeah, that's right, that makes sense. So if you go to master classes and you go down to discovering your divine destiny, that's where you'll be able to click here to set up your account. And once you do that, you'll be able to attend that course for free, okay? So, you register your account and then you're all set, all right? So thank you, Chris. And there's a bunch of other master classes here that you can attend that other people had to pay for. I'll leave it at that. Hey, love you guys. If you have any other questions for me, let's continue the conversation over on Workplace. Let me just show you guys that for those of you that have not logged into Workplace. But Workplace is essentially where we, get together. You go to the Mentorship Masters group, you're already a member, okay? And we ask questions to each other, we share information, etc. All right. What's up, Willie? Willie's in the house. All right. So, all right. Well, love you guys. Get on those 3 ways. Let's rock it. Let's take it out. Say goodbye. Adios. I don't hear nobody. What's up, Ira? Bye. Bye.
Hi, Knolly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye,
Have a good
everyone.
day.